Wow, good morning, y'all. It's Jennifer coming to you from my terrace. Welcome to Review Week for extensive reading. Hopefully this will work out for all of us. I am going to minimize myself and get right into our exam review, and then I'll come back and talk to you again at the end. Hopefully you'll find this helpful. So I've put together a quick PowerPoint about what you can expect on the extensive reading exam. And at the very end, I will go into detail about the reading log for those of you who may still have questions about that. So essentially, the final exam is going to be divided into 3 parts. Part 1 will be an identify or define section. For this part of the exam, you should review reading strategies, intensive reading strategies that we looked at. Skimming, scanning, predicting, inferring, and doing vocabulary and context. Those are the things you're going to want to know about. You should also review your characteristics of different genres. We talked about fiction, the components of fiction. Go back to that PowerPoint and review. I'm not going to go through them all here. Nonfiction, what characteristics of nonfiction help you with reading strategies? Opinion and essay, we talked about the structure of essays and how that will help you as a reader. And then finally, we talked about poetry and what you can expect when you read poetry. So review those characteristics of different genres. And then finally, also be familiar with the different graphic organizers that we discussed in class. Remember, graphic organizers are tools that you use to organize your thinking while you're reading, or to organize your writing before you actually write. We used KWL charts, we used story maps, we talked about Venn diagrams, matrices, and thought bubbles. So just check in and make sure you know what all of those are as well. For each of these areas, you'll be identifying or defining. So you will probably have matching options, multiple choice options, or fill in the blank options. Part 2. The next part of your final will be vocabulary and context. This will all come from the vocabulary lists that we generated as a class. The vocabulary can be found on the red slides in the PowerPoint presentations towards the end of each lesson. We talked about this vocabulary in class in sentences and gave definitions. You can expect to see some of this vocabulary on the exam, certainly not all of it, in the form of a word bank, and you will need to choose the correct vocabulary word to insert into a sentence. Part 3 of the final, and this will make up the major part of the final exam, is a reading and reflection. So as you might expect, you'll need to read something. It will be of average length, probably 3 to 4 pages long. It will be one of the 4 genres that we have studied in class. I'm not going to tell you that up front. The activities that you will need to do around this reading include, first, determining the meaning of vocabulary from context. What that means is I will choose certain words in the reading that I think may be difficult, and based on the information around that word, you will need to make your best guess at what that word means. The second thing you'll need to do is answer a few comprehension questions, which will likely be in a multiple choice format, just to test your reading for understanding. The third thing you will do is make inferences from the text. Those will be short answers, 1 sentence. And finally, the largest piece of the exam will be a writing reflection. It should only be 1 paragraph. It will be in response to the reading, and you can anticipate, because this is what we practiced in class, it will either be a summary of the text or a compare and contrast paragraph. So one of those 2 is what you would expect. Make sure to review the fact that if you're summarizing, there are different strategies for summarizing nonfiction and fiction. And if you're comparing and contrasting, make sure to review those keywords that indicate similarities and differences. Those would be things to watch out for. And then finally, I want to review the reading log. So those 3 pieces of the final exam will take up the 90 minutes to 2 hours that you are allotted. The reading log is something you have hopefully been working on throughout the semester. And as I indicated at the top of this slide, this is a semester-long reflection of your work and learning in this class. I honestly feel like this is the fairest way to assess an extensive reading class because you're reading for pleasure. It's hard for me to give you an exam on that. So hopefully this will just show me what you have been doing this semester, how your reading's been going, and how much thought you've been putting into it. As I've written up above, this will account for 10 points of your final grade. The final exam will account for the other 10 points. Late reading logs will not be accepted. I do just want to clarify this. If you have not completed your reading log by the date of the exam, hand in whatever you have completed. It's better to have partial credit than to have no credit at all. I will not accept reading logs after the end date for the final exam. Here's what you need to know. I'd like you to turn in your reading log with your final exam on the last day. I will ask you to record your student number that's on the student list on exam day on that log and staple everything together. This will allow me to keep everything organized. It's an awful lot of paper, so keep it in a neat package and make sure nothing gets lost. Your reading log should either be in a separate notebook that I can keep or something that is stapled together in one package with no loose papers. As you go back through the PowerPoints, if you need to, you'll see that there are a total of 9 reading log assignments based on the PowerPoint homework assignment for classes 1 through 9. There was no reading log assignment for class number 10. If you need a model for the reading log and don't know what this is about, please see PowerPoint number 2 for all of the details. I've given you both a computerized model and a picture of a sample reading log there, so you have everything you need. And then please do remember that you need at least 3 vocabulary words for each log. In some cases you needed more. That would have been in the homework assignment, so see the individual assignments to find that information. I am more than happy to answer questions about this if you contact me via Facebook. And I will be at the MAC December 29th, which is Friday. It will be open from 10 to 12 in the morning. Please come visit me, so I can answer any questions that you might have. I do encourage you just to go back over all the PowerPoints and good luck, y'all. Finally, and probably most importantly, don't stress too much. I encourage you to take a break. Come to the MAC on Friday from 10 to 12 this week and do gingerbread house building with me. It's fun, it's culturally informative, and the best news is you get to eat your masterpiece at the end. All right, it's been a great semester. I've enjoyed working with all of you. I wish you the best of luck in studying for your exam, and I will see you in the first week of January. Thanks.